won the noise competition? Was it this side or this side? This side, okay. Well, I'm going to start. Great to have you all here. My name is Edward Salmon, also known as PINKFISH, as a salmon is a pink fish. To start the session today, I thought I'd just get you all standing. I want to get a feel for the room in terms of what music ability we've got. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create various different ways, showing you how to make music, remixes, and we're going to make the 1 billion soundtrack song. And then we're going to take that, and I'm going to show you how to plug it in some DJ decks, and we're going to play it live. So hopefully it's a really fun session for you all. Everyone loves music. So can I just start by getting everyone to stand up for me, please? Okay, now stay standing if you play a musical instrument. So if you don't play musical instruments, sit down, stay standing. We've got some musicians in the room, this is good. Okay, and those that are still standing, stay standing if you've ever made music before. We've got one that stood, we've got people standing back up. So you don't play instruments, but you create music. In Ableton. Okay, cool. We're going to do a show that. Amazing. Okay, so we've got my promise to you by the end of this session is when I ask that question, who's able to produce music, you will all be able to stay standing up. So I'm just going to quickly introduce myself, how I got into music, a little bit of the background, because it's quite a unique interaction between the two. So my journey into music started, I think it was about 3 years ago. I actually woke up with no feeling in my left leg. It turned out I had slipped a disc and went from being able to play sport every day and couldn't. So one thing led to another. I had to have operations, epidurals, physio. And so unable to play sport, I decided to take up music. So I bought myself some DJ decks, started playing around. One thing led to another. I got to play at some amazing venues out here, Expo, Abu Dhabi F1, the Dubai Sevens. And then that led me into making music. So I now have 12 tracks out on Spotify with record label, 8 million streams, and I just absolutely love it. So that was what I did in terms of music. And then my background is in technology and AI. I studied AI at Oxford University. I've been lucky enough to be part of the Future Leaders program out here at the Dubai Future Foundation, and was an early recipient and feel very honored for His Excellency Omar Sultan Al Alama, who gave me my golden visa for my contribution to the region. So that's a little bit about how I've come together, and we're now going to bring those two worlds together. So what I want to just start off by doing is showing you a tool called Suno, which, can you just show of hands if you've used Suno or you've... Okay, brilliant. So we've got a good number of you. So just for background, those who don't know, it's one of two major AI music creation tools. There's Suno, there's one called Udio. Udio is Will.i.am's. He's very heavily involved. There are other ones like 11 Labs out there, and then obviously we've got the LLMs that can help create things. So I'm just going to show you, and hopefully what you'll get out of this session is ways that you can create quite basic music and ways you can create really cool music. So just to give you a quick showcase of this is the UX UI, the screen. So on the left-hand side here, this is what we're going to start playing around with. I'm going to show you some prompting tools that will get you some really high-quality music out of it. And we can create something really simple. So in the simple mode, I can just write, make me a happy song, or make me a song that I do to yoga. So the really cool thing about AI music is you can create a vibe. So if you're listening on YouTube or maybe Spotify or one of the streaming services, it's difficult to get a sense of like a mood that you want to create. But actually with AI music, I could just create just a genre. So what I'm going to just show you is there are some key elements to creating an AI track. We want a genre, we want a mood, we want a BPM, we want a vocalist. So I just want to, and I want this to be interactive. I want you guys to really enjoy the session, be part of what we're creating. So first of all, can someone just shout out a genre of music? Anything, first person shouts out. Rock and roll. Okay, we'll start with rock and roll. I like that. And now I would like I'd like a mood. So do we want it to be melancholy, upbeat, positive, sad? A ballad. Okay. Ballad. Give me a mood though as well. I want a mood. Like do we want it to be upbeat? Okay. Now give me, I need two instruments. We'll go with like a normal one, and then we'll go with an abnormal one. So someone shout out guitar. Now I want a weird one. Flute. Okay. Bagpipes. Oh, I like that. Can we go with bagpipes? Yeah, okay.
والناي.
So I'm just... Okay. And so we've got a very basic prompt there, and that will create a track. Now what I'm going to do is show you a few little things that will turn that from being like an okay track to a good one. So after each, what these LLMs are pulling out is they're pulling out different instruments. They're able to reference things really well. So rather than writing guitar, do we have any guitarists in the room? Okay, what's a brand of guitar that you use? Fender, great. So what we're going to do, when you put something in brackets to this, it's called like an AI whisper, so we'll give it an indication of what we want. So we still want a guitar, but I'm going to put in brackets
وسوف أضع بين
Fender.
قوسين الماركة أو البراند الخاص بهذا الجيتار.
It's about like that, I think. Upbeat, so we want to give it a BPM, because let's say I'm a DJ, I want to know what BPM I'm playing my track at. So we've said it's upbeat, it's likely to be over 100 beats per minute. Just for context to those people who, like the music, if it's less than 100, it's probably like in the rock and roll jazz. 120s to 130s dance music, 178 is usually something like drum and bass, and I'll show you a few different. So let's go for 128 BPM. And I'm going to just click create. So what it does, it will create two tracks, because it might think that we don't like the first one, so you can have a listen to the second one. And we're going to have a listen to see what it comes up with. So whilst it's thinking, it's generating these tracks, and you'll be able to see on the right-hand side, we've got some lyrics. So you can already, and it creates the imagery as well. So we'll start to pull out various different things. So already it's really fun. You've got an image, you've got some lyrics, and we've got the song. So it's come up with Highland Highway Heart. So I think it's got the bagpipe theme, and it's quite creative with it. So I'm just going to play it. We're going to hear a little bit of the introduction, a bit of the verse, chorus, see what you think, and then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take one of my original tracks, and we're going to remix it into something completely different from a genre perspective. Does that sound like a Fender?
Old map on the dash.
You can sing along as well if you want. You've got the words there. So.
You laugh. Kick off your shoes.
And what's really clever is it's generating the song whilst it's playing. If I try and skip here, it won't have any music for me to play. So it wants to give you that instant gratification, and then it will start playing it.
وبعد فترة سوف تتوقف هذه الأغنية.
And just to give you an indication of what the other one sounds like, so you can get a sense of creating two similar but different with the same prompt. I'm just going to skip forward to get into a bit of it. Okay. Is that cool? For anyone who hasn't seen music creation, what do you think? Would you listen to that kind of music? Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take one of my tracks. So on Spotify, I'm going to take this track here, which is called So Good. I'm just going to play you a little bit of it so you can hear the original, and then we're going to start playing around with it. Okay, so you've got a feel for what that track is. It's dance, it's upbeat, it's positive. Now we're going to take that track, and I've already uploaded it into Suno. So, and just to, if you would like to do that yourself, so you go from simple to custom, and then you go to audio and you can upload. You can also record, you can hum something into it, you can sing a lyric, and it can start to extract out of it some musical elements. But I've already pre-uploaded it just to save some time. But what you would do is you upload it, and now I've got it here. So you can see here, PINKFISH, So Good, radio edit. Now what I want to do is remix it. So I go into Remix and I press cover.
وبعد ذلك سوف
So what it's done is it's
غطاء
already
لهذه
picked out
الأغنية.
all of the different vocals that are in the song. And then this is the really fun bit. So we can change it from something like it is to
تعمل
something
تغييرات
totally
لهذه
different. So
الأغنية
I'm going to try and turn it into... Does anyone like
أحاول-
dubstep music or remember dubstep music? It's
هل
kind of had its
تعرفون
phase.
دبل
But
ستيك ميوزك؟
does everyone remember it? Should we turn this into a
أتذكره.
dubstep track? Just try it out. And
أتحدث
I used to live in
الذين
Australia
لديهم
for a bit, and I quite like
عشت في أستراليا
didgeridoos, so I'm going to
وأعتاد
add a
على هذا النوع
didgeridoo
من
and see if it can pick that
الموسيقى
up as
في
well.
أستراليا.
So what it will do is it will take the chords, it will take the melody that we've given
بعد
it,
ذلك
and then it will
يمكن أن
start to
نختار
pull out,
النغمة
so it knows the chord
وسرعة
progression, and it
النغمة.
will switch out the piano,
وسوف
ideally, and the
نقوم
strings, it will get rid of
باستخدام
them,
أدوات أخرى غير
and it will
البيانو.
start to bring in
وسوف
a few other elements,
أحاول
and it will bring in the
إضافة
didgeridoo as well. Okay,
العديد
so we've
من
got
الأدوات
2 tracks ready
الموسيقية
to go.
التي يمكن استخدامها
I'm going to hit play on the
في
first one so we can
العزف
see.
لهذه الأغنية.
I feel so damn good right now.
I feel like dubstep as well, like, has a really gnarly drop. So the beginning will sound
هذا
roughly the same, I think.
العمل يمكن للجميع أن
I feel so damn
يحصل عليه بقراءة خلفية موسيقية.
I just lose my mind.
Is it coming?
هل تسمعون الوضوح؟
Here we go.
ما رأيكم؟
That's not bad.
هذه الأغنية ليست سيئة.
Okay, so it's taken the drop and it's made it into a dubstep remix. So
قمنا
that's quite fun.
بتنويع
Let's
الأدوات
go to the
الموسيقية
other
وهذه
end of the
متعة.
spectrum. I'm going to
دعونا
pick
نذهب
what can be quite fun, and actually I've been testing this to see how
كنت
far
أقوم
back
بعمل
the
اختبار
algorithm
لهذه
has been
الأغنية.
trained. It doesn't seem like it knows anything before the 1920s. I was trying it earlier. I was trying to get into the
حاول على
1800s
سبيل
and see whether we could
المثال
make
أن
any
ننتقل من
Renaissance
عام
music,
1920
which we could
إلى
actually try. I might try
موسيقى
classical
حديثة
Renaissance.
ويمكن
Actually, let's try
ممارسة
that.
كل هذه الأشياء.
Have we got any classical music fans in the
هل
audience?
تحبون الموسيقى
Good.
الكلاسيكية؟
One
هل
person's going to like this
لديكم
remix
هنا
then.
هل يوجد بينكم من يستمتع بالموسيقى الكلاسيكية؟
But if you give it a decade, like the decade it's really good at is picking out the 1980s.
في الموسيقى
And
الثمانينات
the other thing, just
والأغاني
whilst that's generating, I'll talk a little bit about is
هذه
when you make it,
الحقبة.
the way that the LLM and the models have been trained is on the consumption of lots and lots of different music.
كانت هناك
The most
أنواع
widely
مختلفة
listened
من
to
الأغنيات
genres are things like
في
pop,
عام
rock and
1980
roll,
روك اند رول بوب أغاني
less
البوب
frequently listened to, and
وأيضاً
therefore less training data for it to model itself on are things like dance music. So I produce
وكانت
dance
هناك
music in the traditional sense. And
الموسيقى
actually, whilst that's loading, I just want to show you,
الكلاسيكية
for
التي
those,
كانت
we had somebody in the
تعزف
front here
في
who
عام
uses Ableton.
1980.
So this is just an example of what you call a
هذه
DAW, which is a
مثال
digital audio workstation. So
للموسيقى والتي كانت
in
تعزف
terms
في
of like
عام
the level of
1980.
complexity, these are all closed off. So these are all individual
كل هذه
elements that
الأشياء
contribute to a track.
موجودة
So you can see,
على
like, trying to learn
هذه
from going
الصفحة.
this from
ونتعلم
scratch
من
is
هذه
quite difficult.
الأغنيات.
So this is why, like, the AI
ولكن
music stuff is really quite
هذه
cool. But
الإمكانية
the
التي
dance
وفرها
music stuff
لنا
that it
الذكاء الاصطناعي
creates, I don't know if anyone's
لعمل
tried to make it,
إنشاء
but it creates very long snare rolls on the way up to a drop, which actually you can
ويمكن
lose the audience
أن
participation
تقوم
when you're doing that.
بإضافة
Right, so we've got our
الأدوات
classical
الموسيقية التي
Renaissance
تريد
version. Let's see how this
أن
sounds.
تعزف عليها الأغنية. الموسيقى الكلاسيكية الهادئة.
It's quite soothing.
I feel so
We've got some nodding in the crowd. Do you like this one?
I just lose my I feel so damn good.
Okay, so you get the idea. So you can
هل
start prompting,
حصلتم
and it's
على
really fun because you
الفكرة؟
can change it into like a
يمكن
million different
تحويل
ways.
هذه
Actually,
الأغنية لأي
I've got the sort of highest
فترة.
paid subscription model, and I get close to
والنماذج
running out of credits
المختلفة
because you can
الموسيقية
generate so
التي
many different
تنتمي
songs and so many different bits and
لسنوات
pieces. And
ماضية.
whilst I don't actually release any of the music I make on Suno on Spotify just because the sound isn't quite there yet. But I was actually doing a podcast recording earlier, and the guy said, like, how do you feel AI is actually contributing or useful to what's going on? And a little bit like an artist would look at a blank sheet of paper and be struggling to come up with a concept. Music can be the same. You could sit in front of that door and think, like, where do I start? Do I start with a vocal? Do I start with a chord? Do I start with a melody? Do I start with a drum beat? And actually, with AI, you might hear a vocal that comes out of it, and you think, I love that. Or a chord progression, you think, okay, and then you can extract that stem out, and then you can start to play around with it. So it gives you that level of creativity. What I want to show you now, is everyone familiar with what a mashup is? So I've taken, in this example, and I don't have time to show you today, I'm afraid, but I've taken 2 tracks, Dance Monkey by Tones and I, which some of you will be familiar with, and then Bittersweet Symphony by The Verve, and I've put them together into a track, which I will just play you so you can hear what that sounds like in its current form. And then what I want to show you is how we can then take the lyrics out of that track and we can create our own lyrics and create a remix in a new way. So this is how the track goes originally.
وبالنسبة للأغاني مرتبة بهذا الشكل على صفحتي.
Or should be. Is everyone on their phones using the Wi-Fi? Let me try another one, hang on.
دعونا نجرب أغنية أخرى.
Okay. Not okay.
Oh my God, I see the way you shine.
You can hear the Bittersweet Symphony in the background. You can see that it's tracked to the dance monkey. Whilst that's playing, I'm going to create a whole new set of vocals, and then we're going to layer them on top and see what it sounds like. So in here, and leave it playing, but in here, we can create vocals directly. Now, I'm actually a big fan of using ChatGPT to create vocals and Claude. I don't think Suno is so good at it, but I'll just show you the kind of, if you wanted to stay in one tool, what you can do. So I can go to write a full song. So I put really fun vibes here. Anything else you want to add to that? We'll leave it at really fun vibes. Let's just see what that comes up with. So it's going to write some lyrics for me. And again, we'll give you 2 options to choose from. So this is obviously the chorus of the current song, so you're familiar with what the vocals are, what's going. So okay, so let's just go with Bubble Gum on the Dashboard. That sounds quite fun. So now, you can see in the lyrics version, it's changed to this. Now styles, we can keep the same or change. Any view on whether we want to have a different style or a similar one. I'll keep it the same, and then it will just be quite an interesting. In fact, let's make it drum and bass. Let's get some energy in the room. Okay, we've got our track. Drum and bass, so this should be quite energetic. It's about 178 BPM.
لدينا عدد من الأغاني في هذا التراك تقريبا 187.
Vocals over here if anyone wants to.
هذه قائمة بالأغاني
So this is actually quite a chill dubstep remix. If we wanted to amp it up, we might tell it to like go really aggressive. One thing, whilst it's playing and just playing out, one of the things that's really important when you're prompting is using different punctuation marks. If you put a comma, that will change like jazz and blues to jazz blues. If you use a hyphen, it will take a combination of the two of them and mash them together like chill hop or something like that. If you put things in brackets, as we discussed, you'll get some kind of whisper to that AI. If you put something in an exclamation mark, it will really listen to it. One thing that you should note is that the first 50 to 70 characters of any prompt are what it listens to the most. If you give it a whole load of different genres, if you want to make classical, R&B, hip-hop, reggaeton, dubstep all in one track, it will probably sound awful. So one thing I would just, as you guys go away and use some of the things we learned today, is take that learning. Now, I've only got a few minutes left, and what I want to do is create a 1 billion soundtrack. I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So for this, I'm going to use ChatGPT. So I'm just going to prompt it in a way that I think will give us a good set of lyrics. So help me to create.
أريد أن أنشئ باستخدام الذكاء الاصطناعي.
Excuse my typing. For the 1 billion followers summit in Dubai.
أريد أن أتابع قمة المليار.
Mention creators.
متابع في
Museum of the Future. Dubai. Positivity.
بإنشاء محتوى.
Anything else that we want to add in?
هل تريد أن أضيف شيئا لهذا الطلب؟
Please.
من فضلكم. هل تريد إضافة
Did you know, I don't know if you guys heard this, apparently we need to stop being so polite to ChatGPTs. It's something like if you ask it to say please and thank you, it costs millions and millions of dollars in prompting power. So anyway, well, since you've asked so kindly,
مجانية.
Please.
لا تكلف أشياء.
Structure the song, intro, verse, pre-chorus, then verse and final chorus. Make it epic. Okay, so there's no specific reason I would use ChatGPT to do this, but it just seems to come up with better ways. And actually what you can then say is like, create me an accompanying prompt to go with it. Doesn't always get the prompt right, so we're going to create that ourselves whilst this is creating these lyrics. Okay, so it's come up with a title, and this is good because, as you all know, I'm sure you use AI a lot, the prompts are really important, so you can actually tell exactly what structure. You can also say, like, I want it to have an instrumental intro, I want it to have a guitar solo, you can give it an exact length, and it starts to base. It's got in here, which is quite cool, it's got some, what we call call and response, that's where, like, one voice becomes into another one. So it's given us the number of bars. Okay, so we now have the track. I'm going to go in here, and we're going to start from scratch. So we've got the lyrics, we're going to put them in here. Now for the stars, we're going to make this really good. So I'm going to start off by saying perfect EQ. So EQ is equalization that's used to make sure that all elements of the track come out as they should. No one's battling it. I'm going to ask for some side chain, which is used on things like the snare drum and stuff. So when the bass happens, the snare's taken out, so they're not competing over each other. I'm going to make this into, we're going to say dance, I'm going to say upbeat, and I'm going to ask for some compression on the drums. Okay, so we're going to create this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I take this track. If you guys want to make your own tracks and DJ at a party or something, I'm going to show you how we can take this track. We're going to extract it on record box, and we're going to play it live. And at that point, if you're feeling like you've got some energy and you want to stand up, dance, rave, do whatever you want, then please feel free to do that. I would encourage it. It's always nice if you're standing behind the decks, if you're at gigs, for people to get really up and excited. So, because I haven't changed the song title, it's come up with Bubblegum on the dashboard again, but it's not. So what I'm going to do is edit that. 1 billion.
سوف أقوم بكتابة.
I'm going to go back to the library.
وسوف أعود للمكتبة التي تحتوي على الأغاني.
So we've got the track here. Are we ready to hear it? See what we think?
هل أنتم مستعدون لسماع هذه الأغنية؟
Can we get some volume on? We'll do like a little bit of this track and then we'll take it out and put it in the deck. I want to get your reactions to whether this is going to be worth partying.
Lights on skyline gold, we're coming alive.
Do we like this one? Okay. So we're going to take this track, now I'm going to download it. Now, what I would suggest is WAV is a better audio file than MP3, just in terms of the audio quality that you're getting from it. So we're going to download this file.
وأعود مرة أخرى للملف الذي يحتوي على الأغاني.
I'm going to try and download this file.
نحاول تحميل هذا الملف.
It's the problem that when you present to somewhere where everyone is recording everything, everyone's on their phones, the routers get maxed out to their full capacity such that it's not currently downloading, which is...
لا تقوم بتحميل الآن هناك مشكلة.
Let me try. Okay, we've got it. Good. So now I'm going to go into record box. Is this piece of software here? Have we got any DJs in the room? Stick your hand up. We've got a few. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this track that we've got here, 1 billion. I'm going to drop it in here. Now we have the track. I'm going to take it over to the DJ decks. Can we get everyone standing? Let's create a bit of a vibe. Let's get everyone dancing to this. So I'm going to select the source. Here we go. And let's get some volume.
ودعونا نرفع الصوت.
Have we got the audio up?
هل رفعتم الصوت الفنيين؟
Are we sure?
أنتم متأكدين؟
This is time. It'll be worth it, guys. Be worth it. Here we go. Bright eyes, checklist buzzing in my phone. First step in the foyer, every language, every tone. Feels like the world came home. We came from nothing but a signal, turned a story to a flood. Every share, every comment built a kingdom out of thumbs. 1 billion hearts in the same bright sky. So the more energy I won't be kicked off. Carry on, go ahead. Let the roof catch fire. From a single post to below Yara. We rise, we rise, we rise. This is our time, our summit, our summon. Every follow line turns to a lifeline. Come up, we can get closer. From a single dream to a skyline. We rise, we rise, we rise. Well, we kicked off.
Not at all. We came here to enjoy with you.
Guys, thank you so much. I hope you found that session useful.
Thank you.